One thing that I find particularly annoying about a lot of religious people is how often they'll attribute everything to God. Thank God for things that actual human beings did. Thank God for things that they did. Thank God for things that just naturally occur. But what gets me even more than that is the people that say, oh, I don't need anyone. As long as I have King Jesus, I don't need nobody else. No one can love me like Jesus can. When nobody else was there for me, God was there for me. I wonder if these people ever sat down and thought that the reason why God loves them like no one else loves them, and why God is there for them when no one else is there for them, is because they are God. They are their own God. When they're praying to God and having these wonderful conversations, they're having conversations with themselves. Like, seriously, I wonder if what would happen if these people actually know, hey, all this stuff that I say and I attribute to God is really just my head. And this was the final nail in Christianity for me, when I realized that I couldn't distinguish between what God actually was and what was just going on in my head. Every single interaction with God that I've ever had, every single quote-unquote spiritual encounter, was all stuff going on in my head. I have no way to determine whether or not this was Jesus talking to me or just my unconscious thoughts talking to me, or if that doesn't make any sense. Maybe it was my brain operating from a different script and I just assigned it God because the thoughts seem so foreign to me, or like the whole conscience thing, when Pete was like, people are talking to themselves and they hear their own voice. That's all that was. How do I know that wasn't that? Even other religious people point this out. I used to watch Way of the Master all the time. And one of the things that Kirk Cameron and Ray Comfort used to say, and I'm sure a lot of other preachers say it too, was that Sunday morning is the biggest time of the week for idol worship. Because a lot of people go to church and they're praising God and they're worshiping, but they're not praising the actual God of the Bible. They're praising their idea of God. They're praising their own psyche and labeling it God. And I would have to agree with them. I really would. The vast majority of Christians, and I'm only focusing on Christians because that's the religion I'm familiar with, the vast majority of them are not worshiping the actual God of the Bible. They're worshiping a combination of their imagination of what they think that they're worshiping a combination of their image of what God should be and their own imagination, their own ideas. For example, it clearly says in the Old and New Testament that homosexuality, or at least homosexual sex, is a sin. But I have so many Christian friends that say, oh, God doesn't have a problem with gay people. Well, what do you say about these passages that say He clearly does? I'm not saying that it's a horrible ultra sin that we just need to destroy everything. Well, I don't believe in the concept of sin anyway. But even if I did, I'm just acknowledging the fact that among the things that God does not approve of, homosexuality is one of them. Yeah, I have so many Christian friends that say God doesn't hate, when it clearly says that God hates people who practice iniquity. It clearly says that. You're worshiping your ideas. You're worshiping your morals, your judgment calls. I just want to shake them so bad and be like, this is not God! It's you. Stop living your life doing all these things for this being that you have no way of proving whether or not he actually exists. All the interactions you have with him are in your head. He was saying, oh, I'm never getting married. I'm saving myself for Jesus. No, you're not. But if you're going to be one of these people that walk around talking about what God told me this, God told me that. No, that wasn't God telling you anything. That was you who loved your idea so much that you slapped God on it. I guess that's all I really have to say on this. Just a little random thought I was having this morning. Wanted to get it out there. Hope you guys are enjoying your New Year so far. And you have a nice day. And I'll talk to y'all later.